Hey everybody, back again to look at some more metal releases, some new, some old, and we're going to start off with a brand new release. This is Disgraced Emanations from a Tranquil State, the second full-length album by the Los Angeles death metal band Apparition. So this came out just a couple weeks ago, 2024, on Profound Lore Records, and we're going to get back to that in a minute. Take a step back in time and look at Apparition's, I think, second EP. This is called Granular Transformation, which was just a 2-song EP, 7-inch. And I also have their debut full-length album, Feel, which came out in 21, maybe 2022, again on Profound Lore. And while I consider this a solid album of death metal upon release, I got to admit, I don't think it really separated itself from the pack, and I didn't give it any play after my first initial 5 listens. So with this new album, I think this is a definite step forward. And I say that because the old school incantation, immolation vibes, definitely intact, but a lot more progressive tendencies, a little bit more interesting. I found the slower, gloomy parts definitely brought Spectral Voice to mind. Maybe I got Spectral Voice on the brain, because I do plan on seeing them in a couple days. And my favorite track on here is definitely number 3, Paradoxism. And if I had a complaint, I'd say number 5, the interlude track. Don't think it really adds a lot to the flow of the album. So we're going to move on to some doom metal. This is Anguish, and the album's called Through the Archdemon's Head. This came out 2012 on Dark Descent, and this is their first of, I believe, 4 full-length albums at this time. So again, these guys are Swedish, and as soon as you put it on, right away, you hear Candlemass. Definitely the biggest influence on this band. But there's a couple of wrinkles that make it unique to me. Definitely have a very serious image, very serious lyrics, seem to be steeped in the occult. But it's also accompanied by a real rock and roll vibe that I really dig. Serious but fun at the same time. And the vocals are a lot different than the Candlemass. If I had to pinpoint it, I would say something resembling Quorthon's clean vocals. I also detect strong Celtic Frost influence in some of the riffs and in the overall vibe. And I say my favorite track is probably the second one after the short intro, Book of Fox. And I really just bought this looking at a store. They didn't have much to offer me that day, and was like, okay, Anguish, I know the name, Dark Descent, know the label, give this one a try, and I ended up really liking it. So I'm going to delve deeper into the Anguish back catalog. Now we got a big name here. This is Thral Demon Sweat Live by Danzig. Going to show you the disc, but I got that one in the car right now. So this was released in 1993, and it's got 2 sections. The first one being 3 new studio tracks, one being an Elvis cover song, and then 2 new Danzig tracks. The highlight to me is definitely The Violet Fire. The second section is made up of 4 live songs recorded on Halloween in 1992 in California. Those tracks being Snakes of Christ, Am I Demon, Sistinus, which is my personal favorite, and Mother. And I'm surprised it took me this long to pick up a copy of this. I am a huge fan of the first 4 Danzig releases. I think all of his albums are worth checking out, but I think the first 4 are the only ones that are good from beginning to end. and therefore the only ones that I own copies of. But I never liked this album cover, man. That's part of why it took me so long to pick this up. But, I mean, the live version here of Mother, I always think of that as being a bigger hit than the original Mother. I know that's true. That's just kind of how I recall it growing up when I was younger. Next up, we're going to talk about Super Suckers. I recently picked up The Smoke of Hell, the debut full-length album by this Arizona band. This one came out in 1992 on Sub Pop, but I'll get back to that in a minute. I first became aware of the Super Suckers when they put out this. This came out 1999 after they departed the label. The first 4 albums were on Sub Pop, and this is a collection of some of the better tracks from that era. What was this called? How the Super Suckers became the greatest rock and roll band in the world. So, straight up hard rock, but some country influences, a lot of punk rock influence, but I think they're at their best when they're just kind of making fun rock songs. So, I'm going to go back to the debut album. My 2 favorite tracks on here are Ron's Got the Cocaine and the opener, Coattail Rider. I don't think this is even 30 minutes long. Short and sweet. Produced by Jack Endino. And Super Suckers are still around to this day, but nothing they put out before or after 1999 could ever match this, The Evil Powers of Rock and Roll. I do think many fans consider this the best album, and I got to agree. This probably should have made my top 50 albums of all time. I just somehow forgot about it. 13 songs, and I like them all, but the title track, I Want the Drugs, Santa Rita High, Stuff and Nonsense, Going Back to Tucson, and the closer, Hot Like the Sun. Those are all perfect rock songs to me, and I can't recommend The Evil Powers of Rock and Roll enough. And as I've been doing lately, closes out with a oddball release. This is I Want Out Live, cassette EP by Helloween. So this came out in 1988. I believe it was recorded in both England and Scotland. 8 songs. And I am not a big power metal guy, but I can get with some Helloween for sure. And, I mean, on here you have Future World and I Want Out. Obvious picks, but to me, 2 of the best Helloween songs. And a cool little cassette that I picked up for a couple bucks several years ago. So that's it for today. See you next time.